IAMX has been one of the early, I would say, one of the leading projects building on Cardano and focusing on identity.
We are really happy to make a tokenization platform for everyone.
The blockchain is just in the background. That's how we always operate. We try to put the technology in the background and just make it as easy as possible.
So, for this month's edition of IAMX M&A, I'm joined by Tim Bruckmann, co-founder of IAMX, and he also invited Patrick Tobler, CEO of NMKR, and Matteo Coppola, CEO of FluidTokens. Why? We are going to be talking about their latest ventures, finest investment, which is all about tokenization of real-world assets. Remember that all the content on the channel is for informational purposes only, so do your own due diligence on the people, on the project, before you decide to invest in anything, and remember that any investment, especially in crypto, have risks. So it's your responsibility, is your money, make sure you do good research. Now, if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, you should subscribe. You are gonna miss out amazing interviews that I'm doing every week, and obviously I would love to have your support because we want our channel to grow, to bring to you more cool interview, more amazing guests, greater discussion about the future of technology, innovation, everything that is happening in the blockchain and tech space. I'm a big fan of crypto in a good way. And that's why we only work with projects that we think have got the potential to be successful in the future. Now, let's get into the IAMX M&A with Tim, Patrick, and Matteo. Hi guys, how are you?
Hey Steffi.
Hi Steffi.
How are you?
Yeah, all good. So, quick intro.
I'm Matteo Coppola. I'm based in Italy, in Milano, and I'm a software developer with 15 years of experience. Currently the CEO of FluidTokens, which is a leading DeFi ecosystem on Cardano, and also co-founder of Finest with Patrick and Tim, of course. So happy to be here.
Yeah, and I'm Patrick. I'm actually in India at the moment, but normally I'm in Switzerland, and I'm the founder of a company called NMKR, and and of course co-founder with Matteo and Tim for Finest as well.
Yeah, my name is Tim. You might know me already, Steffi. I'm the co-founder of IAMX and happy to have to open a new company together with NMKR and FluidTokens. And today we like to present you our new baby called Finest.investments.
Fantastic. So, Tim, we were discussing about what we are going to talk in this month's M&A. And I mean, all of you have been really busy with the Cardano Summit. So before we get into your new venture, let's just flesh out a few of the highlights of the Cardano Summit. What did you like? What was the most exciting things? How you see the community doing? I know, Tim, that you weren't in Dubai, but you throw up a big event in Germany. And I don't know what Matteo and Patrick have been up to, but I was in London with some of the London project and community. It was quite cool, actually.
Yeah, we had, there was a big summit in Dubai, which was Patrick and Matteo visited it. And me and my team, we did the summit here in Germany, in Düsseldorf, where we presented some nice speakers. We presented also finest investments to the Deutsche Bank and to another big financial institute, which likes to dive deeper into our project. And it was a blast. And for us during the summit, the best thing was a WhatsApp from our friend Patrick. So Patrick, why you sent me this WhatsApp?
Yeah, I was in Dubai, of course. And in Dubai, the cool thing was that there was what do we call it, like an award show, and they gave out awards for the best companies in different areas, and there was one award for the best KYC or like digital identity company, and that award actually went to IAMX. So I had the honor to actually receive this award. I also lost it afterwards. So right now it's somewhere, but I'm very happy that IAMX got this award. They deserve it a lot.
Fantastic. Matteo, how was the conference for you?
It was great, as always, and the Dubai mood was pretty exciting. A lot of interesting projects, and it was also nice to see that the whole ecosystem, in general, in blockchain ecosystem, is moving towards some specific use cases, new use cases, and I think Finest is covering one of them. So we are pretty happy to see that the mood is aligned with our project.
Fantastic. I completely agree. Obviously, assets tokenization is one of the main, it's not just a trend, it's really a use case of blockchain technologies. But I mean, I want to stress again how good it is to see the Cardano, to have such a vibrant community behind the Cardano project. You know, you don't find it so much in all the other blockchain. Obviously, you have got Bitcoin, but you know, is there a community on Ethereum? Maybe there is, but it's not so strong as the Cardano is. So, you know, I'm quite proud to say, and I think that was one of the main takeaway from the Cardano Summit this year. Now, IAMX has been one of the early, I would say, one of the leading projects building on Cardano and focusing on identity. And we had different sessions with Tim, you know, explaining the pillars of the project. And then obviously Patrick with NMKR, you have been the asset marketplace. Can I call it like that? It's not just NFTs, much more than that. I would like maybe Matteo to tell us a bit about your project so then we can kind of pull all the pieces together and talk about Finest investment.
All right. Yes. My company is called FluidTokens and is currently one of the most known ecosystems for DeFi on Cardano. And we started 1 year and a half ago. We have a full team of technical people mainly, and we are seniors in blockchain development, cloud architecture, and more. So what we do is create services that people in the community can freely use. For example, lending, renting, and more. And at the same time, we also offer our development expertise to companies that want to be onboarded in the blockchain space, particularly on Cardano, Ethereum. And this is what we bring into Finest, our knowledge about the technical parts, how to do things, and, smart contracts, security, and more.
Okay, so who want to give me a definition of finance investment and why there are three parties co-founding this project, which is quite unusual. Usually you have one founder that come out with a great idea, but here we have got three parties getting together to build something that is seems to be the future of assets trading, assets creation, and transaction as well.
Yeah, what I take the word here, you talked about community, and I think, like you also already mentioned, Cardano community is quite good connected, and you have a lot of really legit builders who know each other. And in our how we started, it's an equal company, so there's not one boss, so we're all the same. And that's important because we fit together in this project. You need someone who has the technical possibility to build liquidity protocols like FluidTokens. You need someone who is minting the assets, who knows what kind of infrastructure is needed to launch tokens, to mint tokens. And as we also like to dive into the big money, which is institutional investors, we need kind of a compliant building block. And the compliance building block is done by IAMX. And we started our journey together having catalyst proposals, which is funding proposals. And at the end, we saw, hey, we have very equal, very similar proposals. Should we do it together? And then Patrick was the one, like very often, and I'm very thankful for this, who called us and said, hey guys, can you talk to Matteo and Raul? Raul is the partner of Matteo. And they like to do something together. And together is always, for me, and as long as I've been in Cardano, 1 + 1 is 3. And now we are here with 3 and 3. 3, which means perhaps we are 6, we really have a big impact. We are working very fast. We have already big efforts, in real building. The marketing will follow now. We start the marketing probably end of this week or the next week. We just sorted everything out, and we are really happy to make a tokenization platform for everyone. We start with institutional investors because it's a little bit easier, but our big target, and this is for me as a nerd in collector, I'm a little bit older, but I have a lot of collections. And, we talked about a handbag, there are handbags who are like 100,000 euros. Why not tokenize a nice Louis Vuitton handbag? Why not tokenize a Rolex watch back from the 80s? Why not tokenize a Formula One car or a smaller old-timer car? This is something where we like to make our deep dive in, but we start with institutional investors.
Okay, so I've got a question here because it's great what you said about tokenizing assets, completely agree with you. But at the same time, if you are opening the platform to everybody, how do you manage to create liquidity for all these assets they want to get tokenized?
Usually, if you tokenize a real world asset like real estate, everything is very regulated. So there will be an owner of a real estate building, like a hotel or whatever, and he says, okay, I like to create 1,000 shares out of this real estate property. And then you as a client are, okay, I know this building is very nice. I know the building, and now I can get a share for 10,000 euro, perhaps even higher shares if it's a big building, 100,000 euro. But if the owner is selling it again, he will sell the shares for minimum 200,000 euro. So you will double your investment. So the liquidity for this investment will, in the first view, will come from the people liking to buy real world assets, which can be private persons or institutional investors.
Okay, Matteo, do you want to maybe add something on how, perhaps with your expertise, how you are planning to create this market making behind, the real world assets?
Of course. More than the technical parts, I want to add the fact that we are focusing a lot on the easiness to use the platform. In this way, people that are not crypto savvy can use the platform, buy the assets, own the assets without having to manage the complexity that normally the blockchain requires. So management of wallets if you don't want to, fees to pay, different cryptocurrencies, etc. So what we are trying to accomplish here is to basically create a platform that is super easy for people that are not already into the crypto world to start using crypto assets, in this case, tokenized assets with crypto technology, blockchain technology. So this is very important and will allow us to get a strong flow of liquidity for those assets that, normally you don't have. And in a market we are still not in a bullish market. In a market that is like this, with these conditions, it's super important to reach people from outside the blockchain ecosystem and also the people that are already inside the blockchain ecosystem. So we are trying to make everything easy but safe.
Okay, so Patrick, maybe tell me a bit on how this tokenization process looks like and what is the company that want to tokenize something is going to end up with.
Yeah, so at the moment, I'd say it's a very custom process. So we tailor it towards every customer, but the goal is we want to standardize it as much as possible. If we have, for example, tokenized real estate in Spain once, we can use that as a template and tokenize real estate in Spain again very easily and standardize these blueprints. So that's kind of the goal where we're going towards, that anyone can tokenize whatever they like on the platform. But right now, it's mostly, you come to us with a project and then talk to us, and then we figure out both the legalities but also the technical stuff on the way together with the customer.
Okay, would that be on the Cardano blockchain? Would the token be on Cardano?
So we are pretty cross-chain, so we are blockchain agnostic. We will most likely launch the majority of our tokens on Cardano simply because it's the best solution, but we're open. If there are customers that want to launch on a different chain, that's no problem for us. We will support multiple chains. And in the end, the end goal is that the user doesn't even have to know where the token is located, right? Because they just download the app, they automatically get a wallet, and they have to know nothing about the blockchain. The blockchain is just in the background. That's how we always operate. We try to put the technology in the background and just make it as easy as possible.
And the place where there will be this exchange of token?
So the place to exchange and buy the tokens will essentially be the platform itself. So that's going to be an app on smartphones, but then also a web platform, right? And then you will be able to basically log in with a regular Google account or something like that, and then you have a wallet associated with you, and that wallet will have multiple blockchains connected to it, and then you can just trade directly there. But you can of course also say, okay, I want to move my tokens outside of this platform. If you're like crypto open and want to use, I don't know, OpenSea or some other place to trade your tokens. So it's like an easy entry point, I would say. It's like eToro basically, just for tokenized assets, but then you can take the assets also outside and explore the whole like crypto ecosystem.
It's your token, not like on eToro where you can look at tokens which do not belong to you. So it's very important for us that we go very decentralized. That is what we all like. You know, it's very tough to start decentralized. It's impossible. But our journey will be the goal of our journey will be a complete decentralized platform where everybody can tokenize whatever he likes to do. It's a little bit the old idea of the original idea of eBay. You know, eBay was founded from nerdy collectors to serve nerdy collectors, and this is something where, you know, the collectors market only in Asia is $3 billion big. So it's just Asia. And if you look at collectors, some people underestimate this. There are people who have really, really big collections, you know, like cognac. You know, it's I know the biggest collector of cognac in Europe, and you know, this is cognac from the 1600s. So why not have a share of it? Because this cognac will get more and more expensive just with the years. You can make a clock out of it. Every year it gets a little bit higher because you know exactly how many bottles are available of cognac from the 16th century. It's not a lot, I can tell you. It's really, really rare. And every day this will get higher. So if I buy it today, I'm sure that in 2 years, the bottle has much higher value. This is, you know, what I have in my heart in this project, that everyone who has a little bit knowledge of something but is missing the liquidity for it, he can use or she can use our platform and buy shares of whatever collectibles he likes, and then you are part of this. You own part of a Formula One car. You own part of an old pirate rum, you know. You can really make stories around every collectible. And this is something I like. For sure, the biggest money is in real estate, no question. That's the biggest asset we have worldwide, and this is what we tackle first. And we have already a client. We don't like to talk about too much about this client, as we, you know, like to secure everything before we go out with the name. But it's something really, really nice. Patrick is highly affiliated with this, and this is also I'm very excited about this project, which is comes in connection with real estate.
Well, we mentioned earlier about Dubai, and definitely Dubai is the real estate place. So I'm sure there are a lot of opportunities there. Now, what is the selection process in order to onboard an asset? How do you do your due diligence, select these assets to be tokenized on your platform?
It's if you have real estate, you like to tokenize it, you will come to us and ask us, hey, I like to tokenize my real estate. Can you help me? And then we make an onboarding process, which is, like Patrick say, standardized. So when we have the first real estate project in Spain, then we can do the second in Spain, and we have already we have a lot of clients in Spain, as we have good connection to the real estate market there, especially also in the Balearic Islands. And the target later, the biggest problem is when you, Steffi, like to tokenize your 200,000 euro handbag, we need to secure where it is. We will start tokenizing a quite famous car, but this car is standing in a museum, and the museum is also quite famous. And as the car can't leave the museum, we will make a contract that this car is not allowed to ever leave the museum, the exhibition there. That's the big problem. How can we secure that Steffi's handbag is still there? How can we control the car is still there? This is the real world problems we have to tackle, but we have solutions for it. It's people who will lock your handbag. It's in Germany called Notar, or like a lawyer who is allowed to store your bag, and then you can tokenize it.
So you will get like a custody third party that is going to make sure that the assets is in the condition they told in order to be tokenized, because tokenization is all down to a specific value. And obviously, if I wear my handbags, well, it might get vintage, but yeah. So I know there is
but imagine if you wear it, that is the big thing. A collector don't like to give it away because you like to wear it.
Yeah.
But if you have in mind, okay, I give away this bag for 2 years and my money I get in, the margin is so high I can buy a new handbag, then you probably give it away for 2 years.
Yeah.
And then you have to see. And there's also thoughts about how much you have to order of a certain real estate object, of a certain collectible item, that you can store it somewhere. Who is the owner finally of the real project, the real thing, the object? That's the word I'm missing. So this is something we are exploring with our partners in Switzerland. It's MME, it's a law firm, and we are working there with Sebastian Hepp, and he will help us in this legal area.
Great. Matteo, question for you. Will be there like a token yield addition? So, I tokenize my handbag and somebody buy a share of it, and then they can, put it in a pool and perhaps earn some money.
There will be definitely this kind of protocols that we will fully support. It's natural that when you start tokenizing the assets and you start making them liquid, like, our already existing tokens in crypto, you can start creating pools that give yield, or use them as collateral, or leverage them. So you can do a lot of things. And as long as you're properly, I say KYC, so you're probably identified when on ramp and off ramp, you can definitely leverage a whole spectrum of DeFi services that you can imagine. And as you get your object like a real estate, which is big, not easy to sell, etc., and you make it fully liquid, and you can have a secondary market, you can have lending, you can have pools that are made of different kind of these tokens and give a yield, etc., etc. So it's definitely like a enrichment of what you can do already with DeFi. But it will be better because these tokens have a value in the real world, so they don't fluctuate as much as standard cryptos, which is super important for different kinds of financial operations that people and also institutions want to do.
I'm so glad that you brought up this point, because when we talk about collateral, right, then you can have a beautiful Picasso painting and it's not that can be accepted everywhere, but if you can actually tokenize it, you might be able to have a collateral that is even more stable than Bitcoin perhaps, and you are able to participate in all sorts of different innovative transaction and in finance trade, which it's very interesting. Is that what you are trying kind of to do, to like tokenize real world assets, to use them as collateral for like DeFi?
Let me just jump in here with Picasso. there is a big company called Signum Bank. They just did it, I think, 1 year or 15 months. The Signum Bank tokenized Picasso, and 1.5 years later they sold it, I think. So this is around, and they make every token owner made 70% plus. So this is what I get as a customer from the Signum Bank. This is what they informed me. And I was too stupid to join this. I'm not a real DeFi guy or, trader. I love the idea of bringing such things live.
Yeah, no, I just think it's definitely something very interesting that is happening with finance. Now, Patrick, it's so interesting to see that like a couple of years ago was all about NFTs, and your platform was one of the top platform for creators, right, to do NFT. And now I go on the website, I was just doing some research, and I see assets tokenization, and you can really see the change that you are making. And tell me a bit, what's the trajectory that you are trying to go on, and what NMKR is planning to be, especially being involved in a project like that?
That's a very good question. So in general, the funny thing is most people don't really realize when they look at it from the outside, but NFTs and tokenization, it's all the same thing. So technically it's all the same. It's just a different buzzword for investors, basically, because investors like having new words every couple of years. So a few years ago, it was just like ICOs, then it was IDOs, then it was NFTs and so on. So it's like all the same in the end, technically speaking. So as NMKR, we've always said from the beginning, this collectible hype, this like profile picture stuff that we see, all these ape profile pictures, that's not sustainable in the long term. And we need to have NFTs and tokens that have a real utility in the real world to be sustainable long term and bring people into crypto. So I think the real world asset tokenization aspect is just the next logical step for that. And the difficulty is not the technical stuff. The difficulty is the legal stuff. We need partners like IAMX to be able to facilitate it. And that's why we started with Finest. That doesn't mean that, NMKR is close to anyone else doing real world asset tokenization. Anyone can use NMKR to do that. But we think with Finest, we can build a platform that is like so good at what we do that we can like bring in all the other projects, because they know, okay, there's reliable partners here that can actually like do this stuff in a compliant and good manner and onboard people through good user experience as well.
Because you, Steffi, as a user in the future, you like to have a legit platform. And that was for me why Finest can be one of the biggest players in tokenization. I think the key comes because it's such a new space. The key is the players in our project. That we have Patrick and team, Matteo and team, and Tim Heidfeld and his team. My partner Tim is the leading guy making the legal checks, checking compliance within our network. And this is something, where I see, I always have now an ongoing joke with Patrick. So that a boomer works with a youngster, one of the young guns. That's something special. And that brings some new spirit, which comes from Patrick. I polarize a little bit. Matteo is, I think, just a little bit younger than me. But, that brings a really great spice into a project. That me and my team, a little bit older than Patrick and his team, bring super nice views together. The old view of how was it made in the past, what was already success, what companies we are looking at since already 3 years. And then Patrick comes with new idea, new approaches. And this is, I think, the clue. And with Matteo and his partner Rul, we have professional people from DeFi. So this is something I think the team is really perfect to make a big blast with this project. I think it will be something when we start the marketing, show people who is behind us, then I think we can really move something ahead, which can be bigger than the single projects we are working on.
Definitely it's all down to people. If you have people that can deliver, then definitely there is something there. I think most of the time you have got maybe an interesting tech, but the people, they are not the one that can deliver, and then nothing gets done. So I think here we have got a very cool team that I've known for quite some time. I mean, Matteo, you are just the new one for me to know, but I think both Tim and Patrick, they are kind of, even though maybe Patrick is younger, they're kind of veteran in the crypto space. So anyway, tell me a bit about the timeline, where you are with Finest Investment, when you are going to be launching, how the launch is going to look like, when the first customer is going to come. I understand there is already a real estate potential clients, car potentials. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Patrick or Matteo can go for the roadmap, because Patrick, I think, has something already in his mind, and we will start with the marketing next week. So here's probably the best idea. But I like to jump back to what you see, the possibilities. Look at OpenSea, how much turnover they make, how much value is traded there. These are just colorful pictures, okay? There is no Picasso, there is no real estate, there is no Mercedes Galving, there is no Rolex watch. There is a little bit of creativity, you see. But the real world assets, this, it's 100x OpenSea or even more, 1,000x. And this is what, I have in my mind, looking at collectors, how much money they spend for watches. If I go to these trade shows for old watches, and that's just one trade show, and millions are spent on one weekend. So if I look at it, then I can trade the watch I always looked for and never will have the money for it, but I can perhaps buy a share. This is something where I think it's really big. It's much bigger than OpenSea ever can be, So sorry for interrupting, but this is the big vision that I always carry around with me. So Patrick, the timeline, it's a nice question for you.
It's a difficult question. The timeline is always the thing that we don't like to talk about. So our plan is actually to get something, at least a date, out this year. I can't tell you much more than that yet, but soon.
The when question, huh? The when question always. So what we can tell everybody is Matteo and Raul, they are building full speed, I think. I see there's the question come back from the team. It's really nice, that we see inside the teams very small bottlenecks will directly open, so I think we will make quite a big announcement this year already of what we are tokenizing this year. I think the platform for your handbag will be not ready this year. That will take a little bit, perhaps Q1, Q2, because the legal and the network where we lock things has to be established worldwide. And in the approach, what I talked with my partner about it, is that we go Germany, region per region, where to lock a handbag. Then we take the next country, where to lock the handbags, where to lock cars, where to lock this and this. In Germany, this is quite easy. In Switzerland for us, as we are living there, we know what to do, where to store such things. But for example, Italy, Spain, and all these countries where we have also collector, and later Asia, there we have to look for the right network partners. And this is, I think, it's a big challenge. For the institutional investors, including real estate, I think we have the solution running. Will not take too long.
Okay. Well, it sounds quite promising, actually. I was
expecting a race. It's always a race.
Line, but I know that, Tim, you build fast, and, there is also a lot of passion and, which is very important, and commitment behind all of you. And that's how you get things done. Brilliant. So just to close up, what should people expect? Just tell us, you told the timeline. Is there anything else that people should watch for, or anything they can do to kind of support the project? This is a project that will be in the interest of many people, collectors, but, is there anything that people can do to kind of help this project?
In our deck, we are looking for investors. At the last page, we say a little, perhaps you can post also this link where this handout is in. And we like to have like a starting fund where we can build faster with, but also if we're not getting funded, we will finalize this project, and it has so much potential. And yes, people should look in our socials, which will be promoted very soon, and just follow us, follow our ideas, follow the possibilities we will offer in the near future. We will not have a token now because there is no really a need for a token on finance now, but we will have possibilities to be part of this journey, especially if you onboard as a client or something. And the first clients, perhaps we have an OG program or something. So it's always good to follow us quite early.
Okay, fantastic. Well, everybody interested, I think you should follow Finance Investment. And you have got already an handle on Twitter. So, already kind of most of the things are set up, and we will wait for more information next week. Thank you so much, Guy, for coming on the show. And thank you, Tim, for bringing Patrick and Matteo on.
Thank you, Steffi. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, Steph, if you meet Matteo is also, his great project FluidTokens, which is very nice to hear more about it. So I can just meet him again. He's a great guy, building fast, building good, and his partner is really a nice guy too.
Fantastic. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.